When I was 5-year-old, my parents signed me for ballet, which later on was joined with gymnastics, and that taught me a lot. Life lessons, discipline, responsibilities, and respect. I'd like to hear the opinion about this from other students, aspiring gymnasts, and their coach.
The VMEA show is sponsored by the following people:
recording studio, rehearsal space, voiceovers, video, filming and editing in New Westminster. For more information, fiascobro.com. Cuts and colors in uptown New Westminster. We welcome our stylist, George of Salon Caliente. For appointment, call 604-544-5104. Security and alarm systems since 1972. For more information, call 604-251-2121. Makeup services for television, film, and photo shoots. For more information, visit www.victoriawan.com.
Very unusual set today for VMEA, an unusual number of guests, 3 instead of 1. I'd like to welcome today aspiring gymnasts of Phoenix Gymnastics, Imogen Patterson, Darren Wong, and their coach, KYNA FLETCHER.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for having you here. Hopefully we're going to have some fun, like as soon as you enter this place, it seems like you guys are full of energy. Number 1 question for you, KYNA. You bringing something to the kids' lives better than sitting at home with their devices, phones and computers, which is amazing. What would be the perfect age to start with this kind of lifestyle?
Well, at Phoenix, we really promote from birth on. We've got programs that run for babies and me, and all the way up to, we have athletes training now who are 20. So we have adult classes and those kinds of things as well. So really it's a fundamental sport, and it's a sport that we truly believe gets the kids off to a good start in their life. So,
is it any particular age you would say that it's a really good thing to think about it?
Yeah, once kids are walking, it's a really good time. They start to learn the basics and the foundations and the fundamentals of movement and balance and flexibility and strength. So it really sets them up for other sports as well. If they're going to go into competitive sport, you know, we like to start them between 6 and 8 years of age. On the women's side, for the wee ones like Imogen, it's an early specialization sport, so competitively we do start them a little bit younger. And for boys like Darren, it's a later specialization sport. So for those boys, starting between 8 and 10 is a really good time in the competitive stream of things. We like to have them in sooner, but for sure, if they're training more hours and so on.
Is it any board? You're specializing for kids and teenagers? But
yep.
You said that you've been dealing with adults as well?
We do. We have some adult classes, so a lot of times the parents of the kids will come in and do some classes with us. It's an open gym forum, so it's not for competition or anything like that. It's for fitness and fundamentals and getting people strong and ready to do other sports or augment what they're already doing.
So I already mentioned where KYNA and her students are coming from. I didn't say anything about their website where we can find more information, phoenixgymnastics.com. And if you don't mind, I'm going to just put you on hold for a little while. Imogen, how old are you?
11.
11, wow. When did you start?
When I was 2.
You started when you were 2?
I started recreational when I was 2.
Okay. Was it your idea to join gymnastics team, or did your parents convince you?
Well, my mom was teaching piano, so one of her piano students' parents noticed that I was like jumping around the living room furniture, so she said that I should start gymnastics, and so they...
So they can save their furniture, right?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting, so they really do start that early. Darren, to you, because I saw you working out, I saw you two warming up. What is gymnastics to you?
I enjoy the sensation of flying. I think it's fun. And I think gymnastics teaches good discipline and body language.
What do you think that it's mostly involved while you are working out? Is it only about physical aspect?
No, it's also a lot of it, like for example, when your coach like tells you to go do conditioning and kind of leaves you alone. It's more,
now you heard, KYNA, what you should be doing?
You have to be, it's discipline that you actually do the work, and just because he's not actually watching, like you don't.
So you said conditioning. You have to help me with some terms that are new to me. What does that mean?
Physical training.
Okay.
Like training your muscles. Also, like on a bad day, you may feel very like disappointed, not satisfied with the work you did today, and you might be like I don't think gymnastics is a sport for me, and it's good, like.
Do you really have days like that?
Yes.
Yeah, but in some point it's maybe good because it's moving you forward, it's challenging you, right? Because if you say that I did everything good today, I have nothing else to learn, and again, you can't be too critical. I'm sure you're trying to do as much as you can. And I saw what you were doing early today, so I don't see, but again, I'm not your coach, sitting right beside you. And the same question I asked Imogen, what age did you start?
5 years old.
5, and you're 14 now?
Yes.
So it's almost 10 years you've been, in the same school, the Phoenix Gymnastics? Yeah. So how often do you have your session classes?
I train 5 days a week for 5 hours.
5 days a week? It's in your classes, or they do homeworks, or how?
No, it's a training session, so it's a 5-hour training session. You have to remember that on the men's side, they're training 6 events. So it really isn't a lot of time per apparatus. And on the women's side, it's 4 events. So again, you're splitting it amongst those kinds of apparatus. In conjunction, they're learning, as Darren brought out, their physical conditioning. So they are being physically prepared to be able to do their work, which is also a big part of our injury prevention. And also flexibility and artistry. So there's a lot to do for a competitive athlete.
So is it more for you, for example, Darren, to compete with or if you compete, who you compete with?
I compete against other gymnasts like myself.
Do you ever compete with yourself?
Yes, during training.
Yeah.
You may feel very frustrated. A lot of times I feel frustrated with myself for not being able to do something.
You have to do something with this boy, because that's getting too hard on himself. Imogen, do you feel that other gymnasts support you? Do you support others?
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you supporting each other? Or you just wish that, oh, I hope you're not going to do well today because I want to win?
Sometimes I feel like that, and sometimes it's just...
I'm so glad that you're so honest. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that support is important, especially for those that are either starting or they're not feeling comfortable, and you feel that the comfort is not there, right? Do you help them as well?
Yeah, there's a big aspect of mental training as well that really takes into account how they prepare. So for us, it really is important to make sure that they're in a good headspace when they're training. Our sport's difficult and it's dangerous, so we have to make sure that everybody's bang on and well prepared to do what they have to do. So we work really hard with them and try to get to know them individually as well to make sure that we know really how things are going and whether or not we should be pushing that day or not.
So that if I understood what Darren was talking about, the conditioning, it's something like warming up, or?
Yeah, it's warming up. It's what you might think about as push-ups and sit-ups, those kinds of things, but it's more sport-specific and more apparatus or body type specific as well. So some kids are really strong in their legs and don't need to do as much work there, more press to handstand and strength work. And it helps with their alignment, and as our sport is artistic, you need to have a good line. So we need to make sure they're flexible and strong and ready to do it.
How important, Darren, in your opinion, is warming up and cooling off?
Very important.
Do you do it?
If you do not warm up before doing specific skills, you there's a high risk that you injure yourself, like badly.
Yeah. And what about the cooling down?
Cooling down, it's also very important because otherwise next day maybe your muscles will like tighten up and be very stiff. Yeah. Not very flexible, and yeah.
And the stretching obviously is important as well. Imogen, I was watching you in the beginning, what you were doing, and I couldn't believe that I had to leave because I was afraid it's going to happen to you. When you have your routines, how long do they usually take?
Beam and floor is usually a minute and a half.
A minute and a half?
Yeah.
It feels like a short time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I don't want to underestimate it.
No,
right?
no.
So it might be like complex for them, right?
It is, and there's a time limit on the apparatus, on most of the apparatus, as Imogen mentioned, on beam and floor for the women. And there's a lot of things you have to pack into that routine. So there's a lot of training and a lot of different techniques that you have to use to make sure that you get that routine jam-packed with the most difficulty so that you can win the event.
Yeah. I don't know, you're probably looking at things differently in your future and your goals. Do you see what you're doing? Let's start with you, Darren. This is what you would like to be at when, in 10 years, 20 years?
My main goal for gymnastics is hopefully get a scholarship. Canadian Winter Games are coming up, and I'd really like to make the team and hopefully contribute to the team.
Wow.
In 10 years, I'm not quite sure where I would be. I think I'd just keep training, see where that takes me.
And you think that you may be training one day your own students?
Possibly, yes.
Yeah. Because you seem like, number one, I don't feel like I'm talking to a 14-year-old child, okay? So there might be something wrong there with that age. And what about you, Imogen? How you see yourself? And let's don't talk about 10 years or 1 year from now, but it seems like you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is what you like to be.
Yeah.
Doing this in the future.
Yeah.
So I would say professionally.
Yeah, I would like to someday be a coach, maybe. Yeah.
So we're going to send KYNA so he can have some rest. And
yeah, that's right. The generation to retire from. It's good.
Well, we have tons of other questions. Also, we will see some demonstration, what I saw of Imogen and Darren were doing here. We're going to step into a short break, and before we do, you can find more about Phoenix Gymnastics and phoenixgymnastic.com.
The VMEA show is sponsored by the following people.
Recording studio, rehearsal space, voiceovers, video, filming and editing in New Westminster. For more information, fiascobro.com. Cuts and colors in uptown New Westminster. We welcome our stylist, George of Salon Caliente. For appointment, call 604-544-5104. Security and alarm systems since 1972. For more information, call 604-251-2121. Makeup services for television, film, and photo shoots. For more information, visit www.victoriawan.com.
Well, we are back watching aspiring gymnasts of Phoenix Gymnastics, and we have coach KYNA FLETCHER and Darren Wong. I'm so bad with names, and Imogen Patterson. We're going to be seeing them and watching them soon. I have maybe a few questions before we do that. We were talking about, I think, Darren, you started that. You said that you feel you learn a lot of discipline and responsibilities. How does that happen, that you feel more responsible and more disciplined? Maybe discipline towards yourself?
Yes. Like I said earlier, you have to, like, more or less pick yourself up and keep yourself going, move on.
We were also talking about that the physical aspect isn't the only thing that's involved. How do you blend with your students, with your gymnasts, you know, putting their emotions and the mental state? How do you blend that?
We have a really great team of coaches at Phoenix. I oversee the program, and Darren's actual coach is Sasha Poznikov. We call him an import. We brought him in from
Russia.
Yes, he
Very
is Russian.
clear to me.
Yeah, he's Russian, but he actually was in New Zealand for a number of years. So through the connections, we were very fortunate to have he and his wife come and move to Canada. So that's a really important aspect of Sasha's program, is the mental preparation and making sure the kids are technically ready to do what they're doing, which really helps us deal with the stress of fear, because in our sport, fear is a big thing. So we're very fortunate to have him, you know, focus on that. It also helps. Darren has a couple of other training partners. One of our boys is an older boy. He'll be a senior this year, who's also on the national team. And I think that pairing them up also helps, because they get to see what each of them has gone through. Imogen trains in a group with some absolutely fantastic women's coaches as well. We've got about 24 in the group. So again, the training partners and being able to partner them up really helps the kids to deal with kind of those fear issues when they do arise.
So girls and boys, they have different trainers?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's different events, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that we don't sometimes do some work together. So sometimes the coaches are very interactive with one another, saying, I'm having a problem with this, what do you think about that? And it works both ways, both on the men's and the women's side. So
I found out about you from your website, which everybody else can, on phoenixgymnastics.com, that you're also you're a coordinator, right? Is that true, of the program coordinator?
Yeah, yes. I just left Gymnastics Canada and returned back to Phoenix. So I run the program and head up the program there at Phoenix.
So I want to know, like, how much involved you are in the physical aspect of training. And
I'm in the gym quite often, not as much as I'd like to be, just because I'm in the background actually running the physical aspect of the program. But we do a lot of work together as coaches, so we do sit down and do a lot of planning together and really evaluation, and that's my job, is to really challenge the coaches and say, is this the area that we want to do? Is this working well? You know, where are we falling short, and what are we doing amazingly well? So that I kind of guide them through that way.
So, but you are spending most of the time with them.
I do spend a lot of time with them. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I asked you before, when I met you very first time, about traveling, because when I caught you first time on a phone, you told me you were out of country. It was work, travel.
Yeah.
So you travel with the gymnasts? So
I do. I'm not traveling as much now. It's a really important part of coaching to learn the aspects of travel and what has to happen, those kinds of things. So I tend to send most of the personal coaches along with the athletes and get to do things. These guys they haven't traveled a lot this year yet, but they will start. The season will start shortly.
I just wanted to ask them, where were you last time?
I was...
Darren?
I was last in Quebec and Toronto.
Toronto? Was it this year?
Yes.
Yeah, and how about you, Imogen?
Last year I was in Montreal.
Wow, so you do travel. So the traveling is involved, so you know. And what about parents? How much involvement is there from their side?
It's a parent-athlete coach triad. It's a really important part. The hard part is when you're dealing with elite athletes at a young age. So the parents are still driving, making meals, taking kids to physio, that kind of thing. So it's a really important part of developing the athlete, and you have to have their support as well. So
yeah, what about the traveling, when the traveling time comes?
Oftentimes the parents won't travel with the kids. It's usually a club or a Canadian team thing. The parents are encouraged if they want to go and watch a meet or that kind of thing, for sure, but it is part of what we're trying to develop with them, right? Being independent and being able to really manage themselves on their own.
Well, I wanted to ask which skills or which routine you guys like the most, but before I do, I would like to see, we did some exercising demonstration, we did some stuff here earlier, and which we had to design the studio a little bit. And if you don't mind, if we can watch it together
Sure.
and help me with some description, it would be great.
So we didn't have,
Okay.
this is a handstand forward roll. It's just the basics you're going to see today, partly because the matting is not normally what they train on, so we just wanted to be safe. These are just cartwheels, again, basic skills that they're learning, mostly for floor and for balance beam, and even P-bars for Darren. This is a round off.
Well, that's not very basic to me. Really.
Yeah. Another round off from Imogen. So you can see that the kids really train the same elements.
Wow.
Back handspring, back
Like
handspring.
elastic.
Yeah.
Amazingly flexible. I think that's the advantage of starting these things early.
It is. And just some aerial skills. This is just the back tuck, and you'll see Imogen again.
Oh,
This
wow.
isn't an easy skill on a flat mat, so
How would you call this?
this is just a back tuck.
Back tuck. Okay.
And I'm going to show you a little bit of flexibility here with their splits.
It's more than a little bit to me.
Yeah. And this is a press to handstand. Again, elements that both boys and girls train.
That was beautiful, guys. My God, are you? You should be proud of that. What do you think? Or don't tell me you were not.
It was all right.
It was just all right. Well, I know. I can see that you are motivated to reach more than. But to me, what about you, Imogen? How you were? You happy? What you just saw?
Yeah, pretty happy.
I'm glad. So, what kind of skills, or would you say that they learn every day new skill, or how does that work?
It depends on the time of the year. This is a time of year where we're learning new skills. So from the summer end of June on all the way through, they're starting to put it into routine. So both of the kids can do double backs and twisting and all kinds of pretty high level elements that are obviously difficult to show on camera
Yes.
today. But it is a time where they're solidifying their routines and really getting to be able to put it in routine so that we know that it's stable and consistent. So,
Well, all those terms what you are using are not completely known to me, and I'm sure if you start to speak around other people, they don't understand your language.
yeah.
You said they work out with you 5 times a week.
Yeah, they do five trainings. Both of the kids are in special, well, actually, Darren's in special school. He goes to McGee, and Imogen's still in elementary school. So they do come to training early in the afternoon. They start at 1, usually go till 5. Darren's usually 2 till 7. So they have the opportunity to kind of have a real life as well, go home and have dinner at a reasonable hour, get their homework done. Yeah, so.
Well, watching them and listening to them, I don't think that they find this is an interruption in their life. I think that's something that they really enjoy. Is there anything else that you like, or you like along what you do with the gymnastics? Or you think that this is your main hobby, or this is something that you're preparing your life for?
Yeah, gymnastics, it becomes a lifestyle when you do it at a high level. It's not just like something you do after school. It's like more a lifestyle.
That's a very good answer.
Like go home, like more take care of your hands after you hurt them or something. And a lot of exercises for preparation and healing your ankles and knees and stuff.
Oh, did you have any injuries? You
Yeah,
mentioned?
some.
Yes? Like what kind of, for example?
Just like, well, twisted ankles, stuff like that.
And then I guess you have to give them some time to heal.
Oh, well, we think so. We definitely try to take care of our athletes, and I think it's an important part of, you know, when kids are growing and really looking at modifying their training and make sure that we take care of them. Their bodies are their equipment, right? So it's important for us to really make sure that they are, you know, that it's the #1 priority.
Yeah. Well, if you're feeling encouraged enough, I mean, we already displayed the website, phoenixgymnastics.com. I noticed on your website there is so many, like you have a lot of people involved with this program.
Our club has around 6,000 that go through it a year.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's pretty big. And it started, I mean, it's a 40-year-old club. It's been in Vancouver for a number of years. And we're located at 33rd and Main, so right close to the Hillcrest Community Center. So we had a fantastic opportunity with the city to build our facility. So yeah, we're on those grounds there, and it's great access for people from East Van, people from North Van come, and obviously the West Side as well.
Okay. Well, I think that we covered pretty much. I know we can talk more, but at this point, I like to, I didn't prepare you for this, but I have something for you too. Sorry, KYNA, I didn't think about you, but you know, I have adults here all the time.
Exactly.
You are the first teenage below 15 I've ever had on my show, and I absolutely loved your workout. What you showed us was great. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. So, Darren, this is a little bit for you.
Thank you.
And Imogen,
Thank you.
a T-shirt from the Via Mia show. If you like each other, just trade it. And thank you very much, KYNA. Thank you, you two, very much. I have one routine that nobody can leave without. And every guest signs the Via Mia cup. I know it's not an easy thing to do.
That's great.
It's not like signing a paper, so I like to have your signatures, all of you there. I hope all of you enjoyed the show. It was a little different than usually. Again, phoenixgymnastics.com would be the address where you can find all information, and I will see all of you again next week.
Thanks for having us.